Hello. Welcome to Heart of the Tribe. My name is Chelle Wagner, and I'm going to go ahead and bring on my co-host for CC Talks, Dr. Carrie Brown. Welcome, Carrie.
Hey everybody, how are you guys doing?
So good to have you us back together again. It's been a while since we've been able to do a show. We've both had lots of stuff going on, and so it's really good to be here
This,
together.
yeah, I miss these shows. There will be days where I'll be like, "Oh, that would be such a good topic," and I should just take notes, but I don't. But I just really enjoy our time together, and I'm just so glad that everybody gets a chance to hear what we get to talk about because I think that we have a great relationship and how we speak with each other and all the sometimes wild things that go on in this world that we have the freedom to talk about with each other. There's a lot of people you can't talk about this with. And I have that with Chelle that I can talk with her about the wildness that is the truth today. So,
Strange,
uh,
strange world have found
yeah,
ourselves in, right, Carrie?
very strange. It is so weird.
So we have a couple of things. I thought I would start out with something here first off. This talk about strange. So I
Gosh.
read through this article. The woman was busted for meeting a man with a Christmas tree. Apparently, I'm not going to read the whole article, but apparently they were had an altercation on Christmas Eve, and it ended up with this woman deciding to pick up the Christmas tree and beat her boyfriend about the head and upper body with it.
Oh my gosh. She's
So,
strong.
so there we go. The world is strange, right?
My gosh, like how strong was she? Like how big was that tree?
I don't
Like
know. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? It makes a person go, hmm.
yeah, that's
No,
so odd.
it is so odd. One of the things that's really been on my mind and on my heart, I heard a statement by Amanda Byes. And I know Carrie and I are both taken through our Torah Fellowship, a Journey to Freedom course by Amanda Byes. And it's really interesting, isn't it, Carrie? We're just kind of
Yeah.
delving in there. And there's been some interesting discussions, but we were watching something and I wrote down this quote because she said, one of the basic tenets of witchcraft is to control the will of another by the use of fear. And that's where we're at, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's coming at us in every direction.
Hmm.
And when they were having this discussion, she was on a show with Carmen Studer, and Carmen said, "We're in the age of techno sorcery." And I thought, wow, that really hits it on
Yes.
the head. We
Hmm.
are in the age of techno sorcery. And so that's kind of what I've been digging into a little bit, about where are we with that. So
Right.
I have noticed a couple of things. I'm going to share some things, and Carrie's got some things to share with us, and then I've got some scriptures to share with us at the end. So stick with us all the way through. This ought to be a really interesting show.
Yes.
Yes. So one of the first things, and I'm going to go ahead and add this to our screen because this came out before when everybody was buying their Christmas presents, right? And and I just it caught my eye, and I thought, wow, this is what we need to be aware of, and that we're oblivious to
Yeah.
in this country. There is one story in the Bible that mentions AI by name, and it defeated Yah's people, right? That AI, they were defeated. They were going into the promised land, and they had just decimated Jericho, like a
Mhm.
major stronghold, right? And presumptuously, they went in to deal with AI, and they got their butts kicked,
Right.
and they lost a lot of lives.
Hmm.
And I think that because our world is wrapped up in this and it seems normal, that we get too comfortable. We get too like this is a normal part of the world, and it is not a normal part of the world.
Mm. Mhm.
right? This we're dealing, it's normal to our generation, but it wasn't normal to any other previous generation.
Right.
Yeah. And so here's some things that I thought was really interesting out of this article. So the title of it is Chilling. Some smart toys can collect kids' iris scans, fingerprints, vital signs, and more. So I got to kind of look away so I can see it on the big screen. But it says this year's, let me see if I can, hold on. Sometimes, nope, that won't work. But anyway, I'm reading from my other screen, but you guys have it on this screen. It says this year's 38th annual Trouble in Toyland report, produced by the U.S. Public Interest Research Group, highlighted a new threat: smart toys that pose a privacy risk to children and families by collecting children's data without parents' knowledge or consent. The annual Trouble in Toyland report, produced by the U.S. Public Interest Group called Purge, that's interesting, isn't it?
Oh
Purge,
gosh.
Purge, I don't know, and released before the holiday season, historically has focused on safety hazards found in traditional toys. But this year's report highlights a new threat: smart toys that pose a privacy risk to children and families. I love how they like present it like, oh, this has just come on the scene, because this has been going on for a long, long time, right?
Right.
So the risk is okay. According to the 38th annual Trouble in Toyland report released in mid-November, toys that spy on children are a growing threat. The threats stem from toys with microphones, cameras, and trackers, as well as recalled toys, water beads, counterfeits, and MetaQuest VR headsets. The riskiest features of smart toys are those that can collect information, especially without our knowledge or used in a way that parents didn't agree to, said Teresa Murray, consumer watchdog at the U.S. Purge Education Fund and author of the report. It's chilling to learn what some of these toys can do, Murray said in a press release. Murray told the Defender the primary means: microphones, cameras, geolocators, Wi Fi, and Bluetooth capability, or that connect to an app. We're also watching for developments with artificial intelligence built into toys, although this isn't happening much yet. Oh, it is too. Yes, it is happening. Smart toys include stuffed animals. Oh, how sweet, right? You just want to hug them. That stuffed animals that listen and talk, devices that learn their habits, right?
Ugh.
Games with online accounts and smart speakers, watches, play kitchens, and remote cars that connect to apps or other technology, according to Purge. Dev Gowda JD, Deputy Director of Kids in Danger, told the Defender parents and gift givers should be concerned with toys that connect automatically to unsecured Wi Fi networks. They connect automatically to any, you're walking around what in Walmart, and somebody's got a wide open because they're child trafficking children, and it connects with your child's toys, who has learned all your child's ways and secrets and recorded them, right?
God.
I mean, this is the world we are in, right? So according to the Purge report, okay, wait a minute. Unsecured Wi Fi networks or pair automatically with other devices through Bluetooth. Families may unknowingly share information through a toy's microphone, camera, or video camera. According to the Purge report, smart toys can pose the risk of data breaches, hacking, potential violations of children's privacy laws, such as COPA, and exposure to inappropriate or harmful material without proper filtering and parental controls. Purge said AI enabled toys with a camera or microphone may be able to, for example, access a child's reactions, whew, using facial expressions or voice inflection. This may allow the toy to try and form a relationship with the child and gather and share information with others that could risk the child's safety or privacy. Right? I know I can
I
see it on your face, Carrie. It's the same thing. I'm like, you want to talk about demonic.
it just sometimes I just feel like, because I've got 6 grandkids, all 11 years old and under, and I just this new world, I knew it was bad whenever I had my kids. I have no idea how they could get worse, and they just keep getting worse, and I just want to lock them away in a safe little world. It's just I can't deal. This stuff,
It,
just I can't deal with it.
I know it does the same thing to my grandma heart. Yeah, same thing.
Ah,
I know, but yet we have to be aware. We
yeah,
have to be aware of what the
yes,
enemy is doing so that we can be more protective,
right,
you know?
yep,
So I know it. I know it. So some smart toys can collect data on your child and transmit it off of the toy to a company's external servers. For example, some interactive dolls with conversation capabilities use microphones and Wi-Fi to transmit a child's words to speech recognition software maintained by the company. California-based attorney Robert Barnes told the Defender big tech is targeting kids built on monetizing their private information and manipulating them to achieve that objective. So-called smart toys can pose the same risk. According to Research and Markets, the global market for smart toys grew to 16.65 billion in 2023 from 14.11 billion in 2022 and is expected to exceed 35 billion by 2027. Austin, Texas-based technology attorney W. Scott McCullough told the Defender that smart toys are another example of the alarming trend of corporate and government surveillance inside the home that threatens privacy and liberty. Simply put, this cabal of private and public interest are voyeurs, noisy busybodies, but they also have coercive power, he said. Along similar lines, California based attorney Greg Glasser said American moms and dads need to be careful because tech companies are using toys to invade family privacy at home. Companies today see the real world as product research, where there is data to be harvested and analyzed. There is danger, he said. We don't know if they're recording or collecting data. Oh, baloney. They're
yeah,
funded. This is the Silicon Valley cabal that
right,
is enmeshed with our government.
mm-hmm,
You know, they know exactly what they're doing.
right.
And we can't be fooled about that.
Oh no,
Yeah. According to Purge, an uncomfortable reality of smart toys is that we don't know with certainty when our child plays with a connected toy that the company isn't recording us or collecting our data. I would say we can be sure that they are.
yeah,
Absolutely. Digging a little deeper, we're most concerned about smart toy features that parents can't easily control or turn off. For example, if there's a microphone in a stuffed animal, is there a wake word? If so, that means the microphone is always on and listening for the wake word, said Murray said. What else is it listening to or recording or sharing with goodness knows who? She asked. As for where sensitive data may end up, Murray said the short answer is it goes wherever the companies that collect it want it to go. Adding that while the data collected shouldn't be used in a way that isn't necessary for playtime or kept longer than needed or that deviates from what parents agreed to, but it often is, unfortunately. Murray said information collected by smart toys is valuable for toy manufacturers. Information about children often is used for marketing to try to sell things kids they don't need and parents don't want to buy. But the information can also be sold or shared with data brokers and can endanger a child's safety, especially if there's geolocation information and it can be used to defraud or scam a family. I mean, child trafficking is what comes into mind for
yeah,
me.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. They already know from listening in what, the child's telling all the teddy bear, all her secrets,
Yeah.
what's your favorite color? What's your favorite game? Who's your best friend? I mean, everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
It already knows everything because the child's talking to the teddy bear. And
Mm-hmm.
what she's really talking to is, a 300-pound pedophile,
Right.
right?
Right.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
So it says identity theft is so rampant in part because of the data on the dark web. Even if the databases aren't shared, they're often hacked. And this is part of the reason that millions of people become victims of fraud and identity theft each and every year. Right? I mean, it just goes on. I'm going to go ahead and post the link to this because it's a really great article, but as you can see, it's really long. So it's well worth reading, but that's all I'm going to read of it for right now. So, with that said, I wanted to take a different look. This is the Rutherford Institute. Now, did you want to add anything before I do this, Carrie? Did you want to talk about this thing with the toys at all?
Just the one thought that popped in my head was, how they're like, oh, well, we're gathering this information, but we're not selling it to anybody. It's just for marketing and stuff like that. We have got to get to the place where we see them as guilty first until proven innocent. We have got to stop being naive. And I don't know about people that are non-believers of God, of Yahweh, of Yahuwah. I don't know about them, but they're and what they believe and what they hear when they read an article like that. Right. I don't know if they are so naive or if it's actually they just can't even handle truth. And so they just close their eyes. I actually see the people in my life that are not believers. I see them closing their eyes on purpose. You could literally sit there and be like, yeah. The hand is in the cookie jar. Look at that. And the people will be like, yeah, but and it's like, I can't believe that you don't believe this. Like, I cannot believe you're not even looking with your eyes physically and looking at what is in front of us. Oh, which leads me to something I want to talk to you about. So don't let me forget that there's something that I want to tell you about that I didn't tell you that I was going to bring up in the show. So don't let me forget. It's that thing over Switzerland. Just don't let me forget that.
Want to talk about that now before I go on to this next one?
Nah, it's up to you. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Okay. I'm afraid that I'll forget. So,
all right. I wrote myself a note that says code word Switzerland for Carrie.
So if I forget, it's all on your shoulders. So,
all right. I've got a note. All right. So what you're saying actually, though, that cognitive dissonance, that's going on to where people are going, la, 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 la. I don't, no, everything's good. I'm still, my bank's still up. I'm still earning a paycheck. My electricity's still on. There's still food in my fridge and at the grocery store. And, I think that people have a sense that things are off, but they're trying to push it away, hoping that the America that they knew is still in the world that they knew. I mean, I always talk about America because that's where I live, but when you listen to people all over this, we're not isolated in this. This is happening worldwide, So I want to share this next article because I think that it really speaks to, it's a huge wake-up call when you see this article. Amazing. Okay. All right. By it's the Rutherford Institute, John Whitehead's commentary, right? This is by John and Nisha Whitehead from November the 15th of 2023. It says, we the exploited, the U.S. government buys and sells its citizens for profit in power, right? Americans have become easy prey for hackers, scammers, snitches, spies, and con artists. Don't be fooled into thinking the government is protecting you. To the contrary, the US government is selling us, or rather our data, to the highest bidders. By the way, those highest bidders also include America's political class and the politicians aspiring to get elected or reelected. As the Los Angeles Times reports, if you have been to a political rally, a town hall, or just fit a demographic a campaign is after, chances are good your movements are being tracked with an unnerving accuracy by data vendors on the payroll of campaigns. Your phones, televisions, and digital devices are selling you out to politicians who want your vote. Welcome to the new frontier of campaign tech, a loosely regulated world in which simply downloading a weather app or game, connecting to Wi-Fi at a coffee shop, or powering up a home router can allow a data broker to monitor your movements with ease. Then compile the location information and sell it to a political candidate who can use it to surround you with messages, writes journalist Evan Halper. In this way, we, the people, have been reduced to economic units to be bought, bartered, and sold by all and sundry. On a daily basis, Americans have been made to relinquish the most intimate details of who we are, our biological makeup, our genetic blueprints, and our biometrics, facial characteristics and structure, fingerprints, iris scans, etc., in order to navigate an increasingly technologically enabled world. Those intimate details, in turn, have become the building blocks of massive databases accessed by the government and its corporate partners in crime, vulnerable to data breaches by hackers, cyber attacks, and espionage. For years now, with little real oversight or restrictions, the government has been compiling massive databases comprised of all manner of sensitive information on the citizenry, biographical information, biometric information, criminal backgrounds, travel records. There is not a single person in the US who is not in some government database or another. And these databases are increasingly being shared between agencies, fusion centers. I'd never even heard of that one, right? Fusion centers and the police. The government has also, with little oversight and few guidelines, been adding to its massive trove of data on Americans by buying commercially available information, CAI, commercial available information. Wow, I didn't know that one, right?
Mhm.
So the CIA is buying the CAI. No, this is not a confusing world. Right? All right. So, even subject to appropriate controls, CAI can increase the power of the government's ability to peer into private lives to levels that may exceed our constitutional traditions or other social expectations. In other words, this is the diabolically sneaky way in which the government is attempting to sidestep the Fourth Amendment, which requires that government agents have probable cause and a warrant before spying on Americans or searching and seizing their private property. It's bad enough that the government is building massive databases comprised of our personal information without our knowledge or consent, but then they get hacked and we suffer for it. Earlier this year, for instance, several federal agencies, state governments, and universities were targeted in the global cyber attack that compromised the sensitive data of millions of Americans, right? So that's not going to stop them. I was looking for a little bit. Okay, so he goes on down. It says, although Congress passed the Drivers Protection Privacy Protection Act, which is DPPA, in 1994 to prevent the disclosure of personal information, it hasn't stopped state DMVs from raking in millions by selling driver data, names, dates of birth, addresses, and the cars they own to third parties. Shocking. Shocking.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, this like really kind of ties into the toy thing,
Hmm.
you know, just monitoring, gathering, uh, taking in the
Hmm.
privacy of someone's life and just making this. As Shell dies, I just continue on speaking. I'm going to turn off my heater in this second. Okay. Because I'm like literally starting to get really drowsy. And it's like, okay, turn that heater off. Um, anyways, they're gathering all this information. And I tried talking a very long time ago to a like 20-year-old, 21-year-old. And it was a friend of my oldest son. And I was like, they're gathering information on us. They're spying on us, and it started with 9/11, the Patriot Act, and they're doing this. And he goes, who cares? They can have it if they want to. And I used to be that person too. I used to be like, well, I don't have anything to hide, so they can have all that they want. And then, it disturbed me that he said that because I knew that it's wrong to feel that. You should feel like you have the right to not have someone dig through your hidden things, your dirty laundry, your private things, or even your public things. And um I thought about a good argument because it disturbed me enough to sit and how you do, you get disturbed by a conversation, you just sit and think about it for like a couple of weeks until you come up with I don't know, maybe I just don't think quick on my feet. Like I could literally be thinking about this video and in 2 weeks go, oh, I should have said that. So I was thinking about what I should have said to him in that moment. And because he was, 20, just barely out of high school, I should have said, so when your mom, because he was still living at home, going to college at a community college. So when your mom goes, you go to school, it's okay for your mom to go through everything in your room. It's okay for her to dig for anything that you've got and to when you're not looking, dig through your car, and when you're not looking, open up your phone and see where you've been and all that. So that's okay. And of course it's not. When you
Yeah.
speak to a younger person, they're going to say, oh no, that would really make me mad. Well,
Right.
why doesn't it make you mad that there is organizations doing the exact same thing?
Yeah.
Get upset. That's the thing I think that we could boil down all of our shows is, man, why don't people get upset? What
Yeah.
is the deal with keeping your eyes closed? And I think it goes back to what you were just saying about the witchcraft,
Yeah.
controlling people through fear. They have fear that they won't be able to feed their kids or make that car payment or make that house payment. So
Right.
they're going to be good little slaves that have all their business cataloged. Right
Yeah.
now, what I'm saying, live streaming, I mean, it's literally going into a catalog right now and
Oh yeah.
probably could get me a prison sentence. I mean, truly, in whatever
Yeah.
is coming. So I don't understand why people don't go, yeah, but it could be better if we all join together. And the only thing that I can think of is there's got to be something more than just us being allowed to think about things. There's got to be witchcraft, which we need to stop calling it brainwashing. It
Right.
is witchcraft.
It is.
It is a spell. It is
It's a
a
spell.
hex, and
Yes.
it's not allowing you to hear or see, and your eyes are just closed. And
Yes.
so that's enough of my little rant right there. So
No, I couldn't agree more, Carrie. It really is. Um, so it's I'm going to go back to this article for a minute because there's some more stuff I want to read in it.
okay.
It's talking about This is just a small part of how the government buys and sells its citizens to the highest bidders. There's always the same. The why is always the same: profit and power. Welcome to the age of surveillance capitalism. Have you shopped at Whole Foods, tested out target practice at a gun range, sipped coffee at Starbucks while surfing the web, visited an abortion clinic, watched Fox News or MSNBC, played Candy Crush on your phone, walked through a mall, walked past a government building? That's all it takes for your data to be hoovered up and sold and used to target you. I mean, just it's like you're walking past something and you just see this invisible vacuum, right? That's just like and sucking out everything I need to know as the cameras are on their this is really the world. It says, incredibly, once you've been identified and tracked, data brokers can travel back in time. Okay, we're talking astral projection, right? We're talking, this is witchcraft, okay? Travel back in time, digitally speaking, to discover where you've been, who you've been with, and what you've been doing, and what you've been reading, viewing, buying, etc. Right? Once you've been identified in this way, you can be tracked endlessly. No one is spared.
Wow.
Right? Gosh, of course, this one goes on and on too. And this is such a good article. And I wish I had time to read it all, but I don't. But I think everybody's getting the point, right?
Yeah.
That, what hit me, Carrie, when we first saw, and I've learned to do this, take away my dashes, CO-V-ID, right? When that hit, I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, the endless tracking, you were talking about the endless tracking. There is no stopping it,
Yeah. And it is a witchcraft. And I know what I was going to say about that. So a phrase that was constantly being broadcast, right? Because that's what all of this is. It's this screen culture. It's constant broadcasting out into the airwaves, right? We're doing it now, right?
Yeah.
But we're broadcasting on Yah's behalf, right?
Right.
We're trying to throw a net of the kingdom for any fish that are his that could get caught into it. This is our purpose right here. So when you're broadcasting, one of the phrases that they were using is, we're in this together. Well, let's just break that down. Okay. It was over and over and over. We heard it everywhere. To get her. Who is her? It is the bride of Yeshua. This is where it's all about. They don't care how many casualties, how many get slaughtered in the battle, because the aim is to get her together. That's the aim of it.
Yep. And just to interject, you, by saying CO-V-ID, literally just my brain went because ID is in that, and I have never thought of that before. And I know that they intend on tracking us and all that sort of stuff, but to have it as a part, if you break it apart, there is ID in there. I don't know if I'm just making a mountain out of a molehill, but most of the time, whenever you see stuff like that, most of the time it ends up being like a real thing. So
I'm counting back to see something. So the numbers that were associated with that were 1-9, right? Which, Hebrew letters line up with their numbers. And so you've got an aleph and a tet. Tet is something that goes out to the four corners. Aleph is strength. So something strong going out to the four corners. There's another one. There's so much symbolism. On our new intro, I wrote, we know them by their symbols. the symbolism is everywhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, really, we got to be paying attention.
Yeah. And there was, I didn't put it on for the show today, but maybe we'll put it in our Telegram groups. I always try to bring it back to if anybody wants to, join in on the conversation that we got going all the time in our Telegram groups. We have the description, the link in our description box below. But there is do you know that couple, they're off grid, but I don't know how truly off grid they are because they have like this big old truck, but their name is Doug and Stacy, I
Doug
think.
and Stacy.
So they had a video that they uploaded yesterday. I think it was yesterday, day before, and he said he'd been doing some research and he came across hidden symbols of stuff that is out there that is actually, Freemasonry symbols. So one that, because I started watching it and it started getting really late at night, so I stopped. But one that he had pulled up that I got a chance to see was Facebook symbol is actually Freemasonry symbol of Tubal Cain. And
is it the Meta 8 thing?
No, it's the little F like that. It's the Tubal Cain staff and he pulled up a symbol on. It looked like it was like maybe eBay or Amazon, and it was a car medallion you can put on your car, and it's for Tubal Cain. It's for Freemasons that I guess it's like a degree. I don't know, whatever. And it was the F. It's exactly the same thing. Wow. And amazing. So it's stuff like that where they're just putting stuff like that, mixing it in with everything, showing us stuff, but you don't quite know what you're looking at. So, exactly. I mean, I think that segue. Yeah, it is.
That's it's definitely. So I was listening to Doug and Stacy too. I'm going to add this. Let me see. No, it's not going to let me. I'm just going to read you something. So I was listening to a Doug and Stacy report too. And and I'll link this in the description so everybody can see the report for themselves. He was talking about the new T-Mobile phone term of service updates that he got on his phone, right? And so this is what he's reading out. On 1/1/24, T-Mobile has now instituted fines for content that they do not agree with.
What?
Yes. I will put the link in the description. I couldn't believe it, right? So fees for non-compliant use of their bandwidth, right? Now, and it's for things that they don't find, that they feel like they don't agree with. Hate speech, right?
And this is in conversations, right?
In a text message between me and you, Carrie, if you've got a T-Mobile, right?
What?
Account. So here's the fines as of January 1st, right? Tier 1, $2,000 fine for phishing, smishing, which I don't even know what smishing is, and social engineering. So this would be like scams to get you to reveal your credit card and social security numbers. Almost everybody would go, oh yeah, that's a good thing because I'm tired of people trying to fish for that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if I read that, I'd go, okay, yeah. Tier 2, $1,000 for illegal content, because what they consider illegal content means if it's legal in New Jersey, but it's illegal in California, and you're in New Jersey and you do it, you're fined, because it has to be legal in all 50 states. So you got to know the laws of California and Oregon and Washington, and no matter where you are, right? So this is their tier 2, $1,000 for illegal content. And they're talking specifically about cannabis, marijuana, CBD, illegal prescriptions, and solicitation is what they're saying. Tier 3, $500 for all other violations, including but not limited to SHAFT. So this is another acronym. So here's what SHAFT is. And it says a little in tiny print, see section 5.2 for all disallowed content. Here's what it's saying. Text messages, categories that can be fined for moral and ethical reasons, will be monitored by CTIA, Cellular Telephone Industry Association, and the mobile carrier. So there's two things that are monitoring every text message and phone conversation that we now have, right? And so shaft is anything that has to deal with sex. So if you and I are having a conversation and I say, I'm not part of the rainbow community, nor do I support it, cha-ching, $500 fine right there, right? Hate speech. I read something from the Bible to you in a text message or over the phone or over maybe, a platform, because right now we're just talking about T-Mobile. But do you not think that this is in the works for everything?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Right? So, and I simply read in the Bible and say, these are the laws according to Yah. Well, that's hate speech. Cha-ching! There's a $500 fine. Alcohol, so shaft, sex, hate, alcohol, firearms, or tobacco. And those are the categories. Is that not wild?
It's allow me to just walk away for 10 minutes and I'll be back. My brain is like literally like, woo! Because that's a whole nother level of surveillance that.
Yeah.
Well, I have, so really quickly, I want to tell you a surveillance thing that just happened to me last week. So I was trying to, in that Journey to Freedom book that me and Chelle are doing, there is a, not book, but class. There is a workbook and a book. And I prefer to have paper because I've noticed that whenever I read on a screen, my eyes really start to hurt. And I also, like, if I wear my glasses because the print's too small, it's almost like when I am done and I take my glasses off, I can't hardly see. So I wanted to print it off and have it in my hands, and just wanted to have it in my hands. So the book is 274 pages long. So that was a mistake, but I didn't realize that was 274 pages at the very beginning. And so, it keeps running out of paper and I keep coming in and, putting paper in. Well, about 15 minutes into the process, I realized, it's 274 pages. I'm tech savvy. I know how to stop the process of printing it, but I just was like, okay, let's just continue on. Well, I have an HP printer. The HP printer has a subscription service that I used to be a part of, where you could get extra large ink cartridges for $4 a month. And you have to keep your printer connected to Wi-Fi and on at all times, and it will continuously update their system on how much ink you've got. And then once you reach a certain critical level, they will automatically shoot you out another ink cartridge. And it's not just one, like one color is $4.99. It's both color and black. And so I thought, oh, what a great deal. Cause it's $20 or $30 at Walmart or whatever. And, so it started sending me, sorry, there's a grandkid crying in the background. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not, but, there was ink that was started for some reason. I wasn't using my printer, but it started shooting it out every month. I would get another ink thing. So I started having a bunch of ink sitting on my shelf, and I wasn't using my printer. And so I thought, so I canceled the subscription. I mean, it's $4, but why keep getting this ink if I'm not going to use it? So then whenever I went to print off this book, I started running out of ink. So I put in the new ink cartridges that were sitting on the shelf, a brand new set, put them in there. And within a couple of minutes of printing, my printer stopped working. And I did all sorts. I mean, it was literally 4 hours
Wow.
of going through so many steps on the internet trying to figure out what has gone wrong with my printer. And finally, HP admitted that they had turned off my printer because I was using ink from a subscription that I no longer had the subscription. So they wirelessly turned off my printer, and I
Wow.
could not get it to work again until I re-upped my subscription. So I re-upped my subscription, and within 30 seconds starts shooting out the papers and starts continuing on with the print job. So I had years ago run across, you know how you run across headlines, but you don't read it and it kind of stores in the back of your mind, but
Yeah.
you move on because it's just something that you just don't feel like dealing with. I had run across stuff that said that we are fixing to get into a subscription world where you have to subscribe to turn your car on.
Yeah.
And recently, like in the last month, there was a headline that I saw that they said that they're fixing to have a kill switch in every brand new car that is rolling out, and every vehicle is supposed to have it or something like that by 2026. And everyone was saying, oh, it's so that they can turn it off if you're not doing the right thing. I say that it's going to also be, they're going to turn it off if you don't have your subscription.
Yeah.
And so this goes into that social credit score. This goes into if you're not doing exactly what you're told, like with
Yeah.
this T-Mobile, if you're not doing exactly what you're told, then you're going to be fined. But I guess probably T-Mobile will then just turn off your service, because I bet you can be fined, but then you'll have like one strike, two strikes, three strikes, you're out. I don't know.
I could rack up $1 million worth of fines in a day.
Yeah. Like there was one time where I was talking to my daughter and I was just saying so many unpolitically correct things on purpose over the phone, because it was just, I don't know, sometimes it's just freeing to just be like not inhibited by the way that this world wants you to speak. And I was just blah, and it was funny and I was amused. My daughter was like, you know, and I was like, what, you don't think that's funny? She was like, well, just, you know, if anybody's listening. And it's just sad that you have to feel like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why are
Yeah.
we in this world? Why? What is happening?
Right. Hey, you got a question here from Bethany.
No, it's supposedly tubal cane, as in that I think it's like the cane of Solomon, and it's like crook like that, and then it's got two little balls right next to it. So if you see it, it looks just like a lowercase f. So no, as far as I know, that's what he was presenting in his video. I only got like about 3 minutes in and I was just too tired to keep on watching, but and it's only an 11-minute video. So I think it's called Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. That's the name of the channel.
We'll link that one too.
Okay.
We'll link the one about the T-Mobile, and we'll link the, you know, you can just shoot me the link and we'll add that in there to our
Yeah.
video description. Yeah. So quickly, you know, Carrie and I celebrate the new year on Aviv, right? Because
Mhm.
we're following scriptures to tell us what time it is. But the rest of the world, you know, they're all geared up for 2024 as the start of a new year, right? We know
Right.
that it's like the new year does not start in the deepest, darkest part of winter, right? It actually starts in the spring.
Right.
But anyway, because we're dealing with things in the world right now, I wanted to play a few clips, and I found the ones I've chosen. This is called the Simpsons predictions for 2024 are insane, right? And so
Oh.
I wanted to do just a couple of clips, and the ones that I have chosen, I don't know if anybody has subscribed to the Master's Voice prophecy blog on YouTube or on the internet, and we're going to link something there too so that you can do that. But I'm telling you, every clip that I am going to show you, she has had a direct word from Yah concerning these issues. And I find it very interesting. So, with that, I'm going to share this one. The first one is called A Female President. And I'm just going to show quick clips because I found that YouTube will turn us on if we let anything, turn us off if we let anything play too long. So here you go. Watch fast.
I don't hear anything.
Oh, you don't?
Uh-uh.
Huh. I wonder why the sound's not playing. I don't know.
I don't either. It should
I
be.
don't know.
You're screen sharing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Well, rather than go through them then and take all the time to do that, I will simply tell you guys about them and and tell you that there is a prophecy on each and every one of these things. And instead, I will link this video so that everybody can watch it themselves. But the ones I was going to play are there's going to be a female president. This is a prediction, the Simpsons prediction, right, for 2024, that AI will go haywire. And I have a short little thing I want to share with everybody about that. This is a thing from let me see if I can see the date. December 28th, 2023. Tesla robot attacks an engineer at company's Texas factory during violent malfunction, leaving trail of blood and forcing workers to hit the emergency shutdown button. Thought that was interesting. I'll supply that
Wow.
link too, right? The next one was called Music Induced Mind Control. Well, if you watched anything by Travis Scott, yeah, Bethany, Kamala Harris, that's exactly what she's saying. Yeah, exactly. So that was Bethany had a comment here. Yeah,
Hmm.
yikes is right.
Mhm.
So the next one, music induced mind control was the next one. So anybody who watched that Travis Scott concert, Dana Ashley did a fabulous I'll put myself a note here. She did one of the best exposés on that whole thing with Travis Scott. I'll see if I can find a link and include it because that it was very eye-opening, right? The next one was financial collapse, right? And so we know there's a lot going on because as long as we have the ability to pay cash for things, you can't track that.
Right.
They've got to bring that system down
Yeah.
because it's not trackable. They want
Mhm.
everything's going to have to be connected to this world coin. And I've done some things on that before last, I don't know, months ago on reports from under the desk. It's called The Trap is Set, right? That was the name of the reports from under the desk where I really delved way far into that, into smart cities and QR codes and world coin, right? And then the zombie apocalypse, right? And so she calls this, Celestial calls this reanimate. But what she's talking about, I mean, it's absolutely frightening what she's talked about. The living dead is what she's talking about. And she's talking about people who have taken a medical solution that has changed them forever,
Mhm.
right? And that they become almost to a state of death, but yet they're still alive. And they, because of shared DNA and and genetics, that those that were of your family that did this in turn can like literally track you out and smell you, and they're literally coming after you. And wow, some of her videos, don't watch them late at night.
Yeah.
And if you're easily triggered, be careful with some of them and don't binge them, right?
Yeah.
Because it's too much for anybody
Yeah.
to to do that. I'll show you. This is the last thing I've got to share, Carrie, and I'm going to let you share, and then I'll come back and share some Bible things that I wanted to share about all of this. So one of the big things that she's been really talking about, and it is in the news, it's happening right now. She was saying, how these big name ministers will begin their descent and will be exposed for who they are. And it is all over the news right now. T.D. Jakes' relationship with P. Diddy and his the fact that he is a homosexual and that he is a pedophile, right? It's all over. And so this is what her site looks like, so that you can see it. And she has a YouTube channel, a Rumble channel, a Brighteon channel. There's things she can't put on YouTube, like all of us, and so she keeps a Brighteon. Heart of the Tribe keeps a Brighteon, right? So this is going on, and it is all over. All right.
Yeah. So, and I just want to point out, in that picture of TD Jakes, he had the colors black and red. I don't know if every single person who wears black and red is Luciferian. I mean, I hesitate to say every single person, but people like him, oh yeah, like that was definitely, he was wearing black with the little red, what is that? Handkerchief. I was going to say ascot, but that's the thing around the neck.
Yeah.
So, he's definitely, he's just disgusting. And so, she was talking about him a year ago. But she recorded the video a year ago, but she had been given words of prophetic judgment, not warning, judgment upon him, starting in 2014 and then 2017 and then 19. And then she was recording the one that I was listening to this morning about him in 2022. So she's not watching the news and then putting it out there. So, and I want to say one, thing about Celestial is, Chelle knows I'm conservative in that I really don't like jumping in with both feet into something. And so with Celestial, I've been watching and patiently waiting to see, does anything that she says, does it come about? And so y'all had shown me given me a dream, and it was a very, very profound dream about 2 months ago. And I've been listening to her prophecies to see if they line up with anything that's going on. And she has spoken about my dream. And I did not hear her and then have the dream. I had the dream and then I started listening to her. And I wasn't listening to her to see if it would line up with my dream. I had no idea that there would be interplay between the two. And I actually was shocked to hear her talking about some of the stuff that was in my dream. And now this stuff with TD Jakes. So the conservative girl in me is starting to, or woman, whatever. I guess I'm a woman now. I'm 50, I'm starting to think this lady is worth taking notice of. I'm not 100% sold, but I'm this close to being 100% sold. She's the one that I'm kind of looking for, is the Obama prophecy. When that one happens, she says that Obama's going to kill Trump, that Obama's going to rise to power in some sort of capacity that will be a supposedly short-term solution for whatever's going on in the United States. And then he will start killing off everybody around him and all of his competition. Anybody who knows too much about him, he'll be just killing everybody off, and he'll become this awful dictator like not Philpott. What is Pol Pot?
Pol Pot.
Pol Pot. And so that's the one. That's what I'm looking for. I know that that's like, hey, Carrie, like you're being really strict here. Well, if she says she's a prophet, then I can pick out one thing and I can say let's watch that one unfold because that one is supposed to be unfolding soon. I mean, she didn't say soon, but
Right.
I don't know how Trump can be alive for very much longer. I mean, he's in his 70s, so he's got like maybe a decade left. So I'm just waiting for this one to be come out, and then if it does end up being like it's a thing, then all right, this lady is definitely a prophet, and we need to listen to everything that she has to say 100%. And I am almost there already. So I just wanted to put that out there for anyone who doesn't know who she is, that when you start listening to her, some of the stuff is like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, it is. And I would just add to that too. One of the things that I feel like I've learned a lot because as I know, to me the prophetic word is not like some new thing, all the time, but it's an understanding of the prophetic word that's already been written in our scriptures, right? And I love the prophets. I read the prophets a lot. I read the Bible a
Me
lot.
too. Yeah.
I'm in the word.
Right.
And I've been able to really, really resonate with her teachings as she's teaching things. She's really got a hey, wake up, grow up type message, which is very, very interesting.
Yeah, and
And good.
one more thing about being a prophet is when I first became a believer as an adult, we started going to a non-denominational charismatic church that was kind of like a I wouldn't call it a sister church, but like maybe a baby church of Kenneth Copeland's ministries.
Yeah.
They had all of his teachings and TD Jakes.
Yep.
And
I was in the same thing, Carrie. I was in the same kind of church. Everything was Jesse Duplantis, Kenneth Copeland, Rodney Howard Brown. I mean, Joyce Meyer. I mean, all of them. That's the environment I was in.
Yeah.
And y'all literally, like, not only had he untangled my feet from the fowler's net, from the filth I was in the world, but then that was kind of where I ended up landing within my brand new Christianity. Well, he untangled my feet from the fowler's net out of that mess too.
Right.
And I'm so grateful.
Yeah, me too. And so my whole point of bringing that up was to say that they taught me that prophecy was like crystal ball. Like, what's the future holding for you? And come up here and we got a prophecy for you. And oh, God wants you to have millions of dollars and it's coming. And, and so that was.
Give it to me first.
Do what?
But you got to give it to them first.
Yeah. If you give us $1,000, you'll have $1 million, and you just keep waiting and waiting for that $1 million. So pathetic. But anyways, that's what I was taught that prophecy was. And then I don't remember who it was, but it was within like the last 5 years, 10 years, probably, let's just say the last decade. I've been Torah observant for 15, fixing to go on 16 years. And so in the last 10 years, I've come to understand prophecy is Yah saying that this is his coming judgment. And this as a corporate is fixing to be judged. And you as a person better repent. This corporate entity, say United States or this church or whatever, they're fixing to be judged, and maybe they can repent too. I don't know. It depends on the prophecy and the judgment and stuff. But you as a person, you need to repent. You need to get out of your sin. That's prophecy. Yeah. Not I feel goosebumps and he laid hands on me and I'm going to be rich.
Right.
And I have no sickness. I have, anyway.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right, Carrie. The spirit of prophecy is it reveals Yeshua, and it is all to call our hearts into repentance so that we're living a clean and righteous life before him and can be welcomed into the kingdom. This is the purpose of prophecy. It's to bring us back to the heart of the Father. It says that in Malachi. Right, that the father's hearts turn towards the children, and the children's hearts turns toward the Father.
Right.
This is what it's about.
Yes.
And all this other mess, it's another form of witchcraft. Bethany had put something, like this. Benny Hinn, where's Benny Hinn hiding? He was in the Kundalini.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. And I did want to say hello to my friend Tish. Good to see you. We were in school together when I went to Dr. Monzo. So good to have you here, Tish. Welcome.
Hi, Tish.
Yeah. All right. Now, Carrie, you had some things you wanted to share with us.
Yeah, no, I hope mine works too, because, mine is screen sharing. And so let's see if you can hear my audio, because I don't know how to.
So we'll have to work it out online. Yeah.
Okay, so, we've been talking about, the prophetic judgment prophecies that are coming out of the Master's Voice blog, Celestial. I don't know what her last name is. Her first name is Celestial. So she has been talking about things, and, I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but I think you would have to be dead to not have noticed that it seems like all the hidden things that were super, super secret and you just didn't know, like about TD Jakes, that stuff is just being put out there, and you're getting to where you have to be blind. You have to close your eyes. You have to close your ears in order to not see or hear what is being revealed to the world. And so that's what I wanted to talk about in this CC Talks, is all the Freudian slips, the slips of the tongue, where the people that are in government top positions are speaking and saying the things that are hidden. And I don't think that they're doing it on purpose. I actually think, and I haven't listened to enough of Celestial's blog to know, because she's got 500 or so prophecies out there. So I think I'm about 20 or 30 deep. And like Chelle said, you have to take them in little bits and pieces because it gets to be too much. So I don't know if she has said this or not, if Yah has revealed this to anybody else, that he is in the end going to start revealing all the, like taking off the secrecy that is like a veil that hides the evil of this world. Like he's going to rip that off and not allow them to be hidden anymore. I don't know if that's...
I have heard her share that. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just guessing, because it seems like that's happening. That is literally because I think that Yah is forcing their brain to say stuff, and then they're like, and some of them don't even realize it. So I've got 3 videos that I've got queued up. One is a YouTube short, so it's only, like maybe a minute long. And then another one is like a minute and a half. And then another one that I'm going to end with is 4 minutes long. And the 4-minute long one is a long compilation. By the time that you're done watching this, please let the audio work on this. I hope that you can see that we are being shown, and it's not their doing. They don't want us to know this stuff. Their mouth is being forced to say stuff and reveal their inner intentions of what they are doing, their agenda. They are not meaning to say this stuff. So let's see if this audio works. If it doesn't, then that's the end of CC Talks for the day. We'll be like, okay, bye. All right. So let's see if this will work. Play. There you go. What do y'all think? It won't.
I wonder what's going on in the news right now.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
But I can tell you that we are not targeting anyone else in Gaza but civilians.
Wait a minute. Did you really just say that? What? Say that again. Say it again.
We are not targeting anyone else in Gaza but civilians. Hamas is cynically, but rather terrorists, of course.
Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was nothing.
People are trying to suggest that there is some sort of moral equivalence. There is no moral equivalence. We are not the victims.
Wait a minute. Wait. Say it again. Say it again. One more time. One more time. Hang on.
We are not the victims. Sorry, we are the victims. We are not the aggressor. Sorry.
No. I heard what you said. I heard what you said.
Targeting civilians.
Yep.
Yep, that's a good one.
Yeah, it is. Okay, let's see if I can get this next one up. So that's not what I want to do. Hold on, guys. And some of y'all might have seen this one. I'm not sure if y'all have seen this one. And let me know if you can hear it or not.
Genesis was discovered in the 1960s. That's why it's not in politics. It's not in universities in general. It's certainly not in global corporations. It's not in the Vatican, where it isn't there yet. It's just emerging. But what I realized is we are the first species on the face of this earth to be aware of evolution, to be aware that we are affecting our own evolution by everything that we do. The babies we eat, the food we eat, the wars we fight. We are the first species to begin to understand not only are we aware of evolution, but we are evolution.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. The babies we eat.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, see, okay, so I want to come directly at the normalizing bias,
right,
that is hitting everyone's head in this very moment. Don't. They are being forced by y'all to say the things that they are actually doing, what their agenda is. This is not an old lady who, oh, whoops. When was the last time you ever said you ate a baby?
Ate a baby by mistake. Oh, a slip of the tongue. I ate a baby. Really?
That's not. So no. Stop your brain from closing your eyes. This is something that y'all told me August or September of this year, and he like literally just beat it into my brain because I have been guilty of doing this, just closing, seeing this video, which came out before this time, and y'all was like, stop closing your eyes. Stop the normalizing bias that says, no, she's just an old lady. Stop. They're Nephilim. They are cannibals.
Yeah.
They are, she is engaged in something really disgusting and nasty that I don't even want to let my brain go to, but I'm not going to close my eyes to the fact that she's admitting it. And y'all is forcing her brain and her mouth to admit it. So here is the last one. I'm getting good at this screen share. I'm so proud of myself.
Right.
Okay, so this one is 4 minutes long, and by the time that you're done with this one, like, I hope that everyone is like, oh, right, yeah, y'all is forcing them to say stuff. So here is 4 minutes worth.
We had to prioritise in that way because we know that age has been one of the key factors in determining people's likelihood to become seriously ill and die from this vaccine.
We know that we haven't infected enough of the population with this virus. So for any lifting of any lockdown to be successful, we need not only to be able to test healthcare workers, but also to track and trace patients or people.
We see a lot of things that are going very well. Things like reducing childhood death and improving the nutrition. So
mass vaccinations, the only path to a return to normalcy. Almost 4 months into the vaccination effort, providers are beginning to run out of people who want to be immunized.
We've always known that one of the things that has the potential to knock us off track would be a new variant. That's why we made the presence of a new variant that could do that one.
The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
We must treat this new world order, this new world of COVID. We must treat this new world of COVID, even in our own homes, with a high level of care and caution.
I just want an answer to the question. Do the protests increase the spread of the virus?
I don't have any scientific evidence that anything.
I want to ask you mentioned side effects. The side effects for the Moderna vaccine sound concerning. With the second dose, at least 80% of participants experienced a systemic side effect. Are these vaccines safe?
Well, the FDA, not being pressured, will look hard at that. The FDA is the gold standard of regulators, and their current guidance on this, if they stick with that, is very, very appropriate. And you know, the side effects were not super severe. That is, it didn't cause permanent health problems for the things that are
a so-called sterilizing vaccine, because it gives you that full protection.
70 years of age and older, we know they are just so vulnerable to getting ill and dying from this vaccine.
An Australian biotech company has developed a new treatment it hopes will prevent people dying from COVID vaccine.
But there are immense logistical challenges. The virus has got to be stored at minus 70 degrees.
But then don't forget, these vaccines are unlikely to completely sterilize a population. They're very likely, say, 60 or 70%. We'll have to look quite carefully, and the regulators will have to look quite carefully to make sure that it's done what we need it to do before it gets approved. So there will be a delay between the outcome of the trial and a decision whether it can be approved as a vaccine. Anything that happens to undermine the legitimacy of regulators to make independent decisions is, in my view, profoundly unhelpful.
Professor Sir John Bell. We're in a situation where we have put together, and you guys did it for our administration, the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Yeah.
Okay, so if YouTube bans us, you can find us on brighteon.com. Look for Heart of the Tribe.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. I was sitting there going, but you know, that was on BitChute, so I'm not sure if anyone's gonna. But
too funny.
You know, but that really does. I mean, you can't deny that these people are saying this stuff. You can't deny it. And so I think that they're being forced to. I think we're going to see a whole lot more of this, and it's going to be y'all doing the forcing. He is way more powerful than these little peons. And he's going to somehow just like maybe just touch their mind in that second or that moment that they're doing a speech. And they're going to say, even though in the speech it's going to be like blah, 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 they're going to say what they're actually thinking, which is the exact opposite, or, you know, a covered truth. So They're telling on themselves.
They are. They are.
Yeah.
So interesting. So I wanted to end with what Yad showed me. Last night, I had all this information and I'm like, okay, Yad, but what do you have to say to us out of your word? And he told me, I was running on a time crunch, and I heard immediately, go to Enoch chapter 65, 66. And I went, okay. Actually, I got Enoch 65 in a plus sign, and I said, oh, okay, so it's Enoch 65 plus a little more. So I'm going to read this to you because this is very interesting. And then he gave me a little something about this that I want to share to you of like how this stuff is working. So Enoch 65, it says, in those days, this is a vision of Noah, right? So in those days, Noah saw, I'm reading from the Sefer, okay? In those days, Noah saw that the earth became inclined, right? And so the first thing that really hit me is, if I looked it up and I was thinking about it, because it's inclined, so it's become sloped, tilted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, off its axis somehow.
Right.
Okay, so it's leaning. Okay, so I'm like, all right, that's what that word means. In those days, Noah saw that the earth became inclined and that destruction approached. Then he lifted up his feet and went to the ends of the earth. And I'm like, okay, so something huge has been happening with me lately. I realized that, when you really respect somebody in your life and you know that they're very learned, we have a tendency as humans to, put a lot of weight on their opinions and what they have to say. And I had, someone in my life that I respected a great deal that was just adamant, that anything that dealt with flat earth was absolutely ridiculous, and you had to be an idiot to believe that. And I just kind of swallowed that hook, line, and sinker. And lately, Yah has been challenging me on this. I'm not saying I'm anywhere at it now, right? But this is what I realized about myself. I said, here's what I've realized, Yah. I just took someone else's strong opinion and ran with that. I never once asked you your opinion. So you've never shared anything with me, because I've always been like, well, y'all's never talked to me about that. Well, because I've never asked, right? I've never asked. I just assume, I assumed I knew. So I said, y'all, I'm going to repent right now and say, I'm sorry for my assumptions. And if there is something you would like to open my eyes to or share with me, I am willing to look at anything you want to present before me. But I need to know from you, not from anyone else. I need you to show me out of your word what you want me to know. So that's really where I'm at right now. And I do feel like he is showing me some things. So I am puzzling things out at the moment. I haven't landed anywhere. I'm questioning, I'm praying. But things like this are coming up before me when I pray. And this is not the first time. There has been some things in Job. There's been other things. It's like I'm reading the word and things are starting to pop off the page at me. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. All right. My eyes are opening to some things I think he's wanting to share. So let me continue reading. Then he lifted up his feet and went to the ends of the earth, to the dwelling of his great grandfather Hanuk, which is Enoch, right? And Noah cried with a bitter voice, hear me, hear me, hear me, 3 times. And he said, tell me what is transacting upon the earth, for the earth labors and is violently shaken. Surely I shall perish with it. Well, that immediately took my brain to Matthew 24, labor pains, right? Mm-hmm. There's a huge connection there.
Right.
And we're told in Matthew 24, for it'll be as if the days of Noah.
Right.
Right. Okay. After this, there was a great perturbation on earth. I'm going to come back to that because this word is huge in what I have to share, but I want to finish reading this in context, and I'm going to end with what y'all showed me about that. Okay. So after this, there was a great perturbation on earth, and a voice was heard from heaven. I fell down on my face when my great grandfather Hanuk came and stood by me. He said to me, why have you cried out to me with a bitter cry and lamentation? A commandment has gone forth from Yahweh against those who dwell on the earth, that they may be destroyed, for they know every secret of the angels. Every oppressive and secret power of the devils, and every power of those who commit sorcery, as well as of those who make molten in the whole earth. How is silver produced from the dust of the earth, and how on the earth does the drop exist? For lead and tin are not produced from earth as the primary fountain of their production. There is an angel standing upon it, and that angel struggles to prevail. Afterwards, my great-grandfather Hanuk seized me with his hand, raising me up and saying to me, go, for I have asked Yahweh Zavaot respecting this perturbation of the earth, who replied, on account of their impiety, have their innumerable judgments been consummated before me. Because of the sorceries, so this is Yah speaking, because of the sorceries which they have searched out and learned, the earth and those who dwell upon it will be destroyed, and that to these there will be no refuge forever. They have discovered secrets, those who have been judged, but not you, my son. Yahweh Zavaot knows that you are pure and good from the reproach of secrets. He, the Holy One, will establish your name in the midst of the Kodashim, right? In the midst of the righteous, and will guard you from those who dwell upon the earth. He will establish your seed in righteousness. For when you think about that, we always talk about we come from the seed of Adam, but everybody died but Noah and his sons. We all come from the seed of Noah, right?
I've thought of that. Yes.
Yeah. And will guard you from those who dwell upon the earth. He will establish your seed in righteousness for kings and for great glory. And from your seed shall spring forth righteousness and holy men without number forever. After this, he showed me the angels of punishment who were prepared to come and to open all the mighty waters under the earth, that they may be for judgment and for the destruction of all those who remain and dwell upon the earth. And Yahweh Zavaot commanded the angels who went forth not to take up and guard the men, for those angels are over all the mighty waters. Then I went out from the presence of Hanuk. Couple of things really hit me. One, Yahweh Zavaot is always the name of Yah that we're giving when we're dealing with judgments on the earth. Hey, John, good to see you. I just wanted to say hello, because I saw that John had joined.
Hey, John.
Hey. So anyway, that, there's the first thing. The second thing that really, really hit me was this word perturbation. So I've been listening to a series called The Image of the Beast by Brad Scott, the late Brad Scott of wildbranchministries.org, right? So this was the very last series that he did before he died, right? Oh. And I always give a lot of credence to the last thing somebody does before they're no longer with us, because I think that there's something that Yah puts in the heart of his servants to give that last push and leave with their legacy. So in this series, he's dealing with the difference between living in a digital world and an analog world. So last night he was talking about the digital world. It's just, okay, I need to know the meaning of words, so I'll just look it up on my phone. Great, got it, move on, right? Whereas the analog world is like what you did when you wanted the Journey to Freedom book, printing all those pages, getting it in front of me so that I can read it, I can reflect on it, I can think about it. It's not a screen thing that just flashed before me and now it's gone, but it's physically in my hands so that I can meditate on it. Right. So there's a huge difference. And he's saying that that's the difference in those worlds. So I'm studying this out last night and I'm like, you know what? I don't know what perturbation means. right? And this is a huge word. It's used twice in this. So I need to know. So what do? I pick up my phone and I look it up, right? And this is what I get. I get agitation, mental anguish, right? That's what I got. And then I went, oh, I'm dealing with this digitally. I need to look at this from an analog perspective. So I got my dictionary off of the thing. So what is perturbation according to the dictionary? So it gives lots of stuff. This is what all I got. Here's the difference, right? It says it's agitation. There's a variation in a designated orbit as of an election or planet resulting from the influence of one or more external bodies. So it's something that's happening in the planetary realm and the stars and the moon and the sun. It's happening in the heavenly space, right? Perturbation. So then it gives you further. Perturb, to disturb greatly, to make uneasy or anxious is one. Number two, to throw something into great confusion. So it gives you the reason why, right? Number three, from a physics perspective, it's to cause perturbation as of an electronic or celestial orbit. I was like, wow. Then it breaks it down into the Latin. It says this is a Latin word that means that is perturbare. Per means intensive, and turbare means to throw something into disorder. So if we take it back to the Latin root, right, perturbation is an intensive throwing of something into disorder. And this is what he's accusing. He says in 65:4, after this, there was a great perturbation on earth, and a voice was heard from heaven. So he's saying what they're doing in the heavenly realms is throwing it into disorder and chaos, right? We're living through it again. So I just thought that was interesting and wanted to share that. So that was really all I had for today.
I know that we had discussed that we were going to end on this note, but this ties into the perturbation of the heavenly signs and the sun and the moon and the stars could be tied into what you were just saying. That's that note that I wanted you to remember, this Switzerland. I don't know. Did you have a chance to watch that little couple of second clip on Stephen Benoon about the portal?
I did. Yeah.
So I could bring it up. Do you want me to bring it up, or do you want us to just
Sure.
put the link?
You can bring it up, whatever you want to do.
We'll just talk about it, and then we'll just leave a link. It's at the 3-minute 30-second mark on this video. Stephen Danoon, is it Ben Danoon?
Ben Danoon.
Okay. And he did a screen share of him just reacting to somebody else who had uploaded a video that was over Geneva, Switzerland, which is where CERN is. And it shows like this little point of light, and then like kind of like a smoke going across the sky. All of this is in the sky above the city of Geneva. And then a portal begins to open and starts to spin, and it looks just like Hollywood. I mean, just like it. And it stays open, and there's like this, like just like smoke and stuff going into it, like a black hole had been opened, and then it just closes. And there's all this lightning and stuff going on in the background. I mean, it's just like a light show, And Stephen was like, wow. That was his commentary. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So, he said, if this is real, then this will get taken down, which, sometimes it's true. Sometimes I feel like that they leave real stuff up if it looks fake enough. I don't know how to describe it, but I just feel like sometimes they love the confusion that they have created. They have put out there so much fakery that when something real, let's just say this is real. I don't know if it is or if it's Photoshop. If it is real, we've seen so much fakery that they can leave it up and they know everybody, 99% of the world is going to look at it and go, nah, that's fake, right, when it was actually happening. But we'll know if it was real is if it begins to happen again. If there's another video that comes out and maybe it's happening over here or over here. So that would be a perturbation of, you know, the signs of the sun and the moon and the stars. So, and Celestial on the Master's Voice blog was talking about the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis, that the fallen angels can create a type of it, and that they are the ones that are behind the ones that are creating shapes. Like someone apparently got it on video. I haven't seen it. I'd like to look it up whenever we're done with this, but that there was a phoenix that the Northern Lights put up there was, so the Aurora Borealis is the fallen angels, and they are creating this stuff. And she was saying, don't go out and look at it and be like, wow, that's great. She said, stay in your home and ask y'all to protect you and protect your home, because what you're seeing is, you know, the demonic, you know. So that's perturbation. So I just wanted to bring that out. So
yeah, always he weaves it, because Carrie and I were both so busy. We don't have time to talk about anything that I never know what she's going to bring. Or she never knows what I'm going to bring till we're actually here live. So our reactions are real. We're having a real conversation about what we have found interesting. And it's amazing how Yah just weaves it all together.
Yes. Truly amazing.
All right. Well, I didn't have anything else. Did you have anything else?
No, I don't. I feel like this is a really enlightening type video this time. Like, it was like we had a lot to bring out. I hope that everybody was as enlightened as we were, you know, like, oh, wow, there is some stuff going on there, you know?
Me too.
But Yah is with us. Yah is greater. So
Yes. And then he's got plans and protections, you know, for his people. We're here to do a job. I know that last night I was responding to a message on the Heart of the Tribe Telegram. And if you haven't joined it, please join it and be in fellowship with us. You know, we have some good conversations on there. And somebody had put something about, you know, things in the water, you know, like venom in the water, right? And we're talking about swimming pools. I had I tried an experiment, Carrie. I tried an experiment to where, because I have back issues, and so water and water aerobics helps me to get exercise that doesn't hurt, right? So I had a scan by Dr. Monzo that said that my venom level was at 4 and I needed to work on getting that down, right? And so that was in July. So in the meantime, I joined my local Y and started getting into the pool about once, maybe twice a week during a 6-week period. Okay. Had a rescan. He gives me the audio report, right? And he said, I don't know what you're doing or who you're around, but your venoms are off the chart, like 17.
Whoa.
Right? Like, you're around somebody who's shedding like crazy. And I went, it's the pool. I knew it, because I would be in the midst of the class and I'm talking with all the other ladies or listening to their conversations, and everybody's giving their shot updates to each other. And I'm like, okay, we're going to see on my report. Absolutely. And I could feel it physically in my body. I've been out of that now for, you know, about 2-3 weeks. The difference is amazing, right? I put on my patches, and, you know, Carrie and I did a show about that last months ago, and it does help tremendously. So to draw that stuff back out. So, you know, I'm doing that and doing his other recommendations, and the P90 machine. Wow. We'll have to talk about that. Nita has has information on that. If you haven't joined her Remnant Remedy channel, join it. She can tell you all about that because it is helping me tremendously. Also, I'm thrilled to have it.
Yes.
So it's real. This stuff is real.
It's real. Don't close your eyes. Don't close your eyes.
Yep. Because it's happening, whether you want to believe it's happening or don't want to believe it's happening.
And the admonition, the reason why I was being chastised by y'all about closing my eyes is he was saying, I have given you the ability to see. Yeah. Why are you choosing to close your eyes? It is a blessing. And it's it's a gift to anyone who wants to open who wants to be a part of his kingdom is I give you eyes to see and ears to hear so that we're not sheep led to the slaughter.
Yes. The verse that pops in my brain, Carrie, too, is he talks about, I've given you the power to trample upon snakes and scorpions, right? I mean, think about that in light of what we have discovered with the, medical atrocities being perpetrated on all of us, right? Because it is in the water, it is in the air, it's everywhere. And that was the Telegram message last night. My friend on Telegram was saying, it's not just in the pool water, it's in the water, period. What are we going to do? And I responded, we're going to trust Yah. And I don't mean that flippantly or dismissively. I mean, it really is the only option that we have. Close relationship with him, knowledge from him, sharing with him, knowing that it's in him I live, I move, I have my being, and I will breathe as long as it's his pleasure that I continue to breathe. Right. I that's one of my prayers in the morning is I wake up and I say, Yahweh, thank you for the privilege of knowing your name, of having the privilege to speak your name, of the privilege of having your breath of life within me.
Right.
What do you want to do today?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm a sojourner here. This is not my home, and this is not the end of my existence. Right. I mean, I really believe that when we reach that state of death, all of us, righteous and unrighteous, saved, unsaved, that we sleep until the day that he awakens and he says, this is, the final judgment. And then there's a whole, for those of us who have made him the object of our adoration and are in a real relationship with him and love him and have given our lives to his service for his glory. Not that we do it perfect. I mess up all the time. I have to repent all the time. But it's not this, oh, I'm a toad, type mentality. It's, oh, I'm human and I mess up. Right. But I believe that I can come to you. I can talk to you about it. You can straighten me out and put my feet back on the path where they need to be. It's not this, God doesn't deal with me that way. My Yah doesn't deal with me beating me up. Right. He gives me the path and hope and restoration and no, here's where I want you walking. And here's how I want you to handle this instead. Right. This is the type of relationship. It's loving. It's caring. It's real. And so I'm excited for that day that when my sleep is done, whether, and I don't know, maybe I remain until that day. Maybe he decides that I'm one of the ones that stays. Maybe he decides I'm one of the ones that goes into captivity. Maybe he decides I'm one of the ones that dies ahead of time or is martyred. I don't know. We don't know that. But whatever it is, the day is coming where we get to have a conversation. And the only thing I want to hear is, well done, good and faithful servant.
Right.
On in.
Yeah.
To which the gate, I believe I'm walking through the Zebulun gate. I just believe that, we'll see. Right.
Yeah. We'll see. Well, that's it, and I wanted to say, talking about being, sick, I think that we need to be practicing our faith. And what I mean by that is, I don't yet have my glorified body. There is illness in my body. That's why I became a naturopath. It's not for myself. It was to help my sons who have been diagnosed with a rare muscular dystrophy. And so it's a genetic thing that was passed through X-linked, which means me. And so that's what the medical profession says. That's their diagnosis. That's what they have confessed over my genetic line. And so I wait for the glorified bodies, but I still petition my Heavenly Father for their healing. And I still practice asking him to heal little things whenever my grandkids like fall and scrape their knee and stuff. I want them to know what it is to pray for, I get a boo-boo, and y'all please take this pain away from me and heal me from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. It's a prayer that I started praying with my little kids whenever they were very little. And so I do it with my grandkids now. And I think it's practicing our faith. We may not see full healing. And so I think that there is nothing wrong with it. I think there is nothing wrong with trying to continue to press in. And like Chelle was saying, she's waiting. She is waiting for her healing. And, y'all has asked me once when I was asking for healing for my youngest son who has been affected the most. He literally just asked me, so will you still be with me if I don't heal him? And what he was asking me was not, I'm not going to heal him, so what are you going to do about it? That's not what he was asking me. He was asking me, if I choose not to, where's your head? Where's your mindset? Yeah. Are you going to still follow me? Because my will and my purpose is being done in this earth. And there may be a reason that I don't fully comprehend why he still has this issue. So, I think that we need to just continue to press into him, because I think the times are going to get really difficult. And if we don't practice now in this time of peace, and, I know that people are going to be like, time of peace. Yeah, it's peace. We're talking about openly on the internet. We're not being fined yet. Just my printer has been turned off, but that's it. And so I can go to the grocery store still freely. I can still buy gas, even though I have not taken the thing in the arm. So my husband still has a job, even though he hasn't. So we need to be practicing now. So that's what I would love to leave this on. My parting words is, Chelle continues to press on. I continue to press on. Let's all practice our faith right now. Let's keep our eyes open. Yeah. Let's not do normalizing bias. If you go and you watch that video of the portal opening over Switzerland, Geneva, Switzerland, let's just at least give it the benefit of the doubt that there's a possibility that CERN was actually creating that, because they said that's what they want to do. So where did we think it was going to open up? In Texas, and Argentina, it's going to open probably right over CERN's thing. And so let's keep our eyes open. So
this was a really good comment on that. John is talking about the CIA program, the butterfly effect, put out so much information that people shut down, not knowing what's real or fake. And this is the reason. This is a great comment to follow it up from Bethany. She said, I've decided to stay firm under the shadow of Yah's wings, no matter what happens, and stand firm in his word. That's our solution, Bethany. Yes. That is our solution. I could not have said that any better than how you said it. Thank you for sharing with us. Yeah. All righty. Well, with that, we've been talking for a while. This was a great show. I really enjoyed it, Carrie. Thank you so much. this was wonderful. And thank you, audience, for joining us, whether you were able to be with us live or you watch the replay. We appreciate you. You know, I do have a lot of links in there. We've got links for Carrie's website. We've got links for Telegram channels. I've got links for the things that I am using to try to heal my body. Carrie has links at her website with solutions and answers. So, you know, reach out to us and let's all just continue this journey together.
Yes.
And with that, we'll say shalom.
Shalom, everybody.